if you know this challenge that sometimes you get stuck in your head, maybe you're in a social situation and you keep on analyzing how you're behaving, or there's something important coming up in your life and you keep on trying to mentally prepare while knowing that that's not the most effective way to do it, that usually you're at your best when you relax and trust yourself, but you don't really know how you can kind of get out of this pattern of overthinking on a repeated basis, then stay with me, because in this video I'm going to talk about what actually happens inside of you that leads to overthinking, why these ideas like just relax or just trust yourself and so on and so forth, why they're usually counterproductive, how we can address this issue at the root, and in the end I'll give you some very practical ways that you can apply right now to start feeling more grounded, more connected to your body, less stuck in your head, and in general just more compassionate with yourself. Now, for those that don't know me, my name is David Lyon, and for the past 4 years I've worked with over 100 highly sensitive individuals on becoming more grounded and connected with themselves, knowing more clearly what they actually want in life and then making it happen. And man, this challenge of overthinking has been super present in my life, especially for the first 23 years, where in most social settings that I would be in, I would not be able to enjoy because I would constantly, or most of the time, be in a really stressed state of trying to analyze everything, looking at myself kind of from the outside and judging what I was doing. Or when something important was coming up in my life, I would feel really stressed and would try to go over it in my head over and over again. And obviously that was not a really effective thing. So what I'm sharing with you in this video is not just some nice ideas that I read in a book. Those are things that I found over the past 6-7 years of intensely exploring this and finding my way of getting out of my head into my body, into a place of trust, connection, and power, rather than constantly questioning myself and trying to figure things out with my mind. The way I see it, there are two main ways why we tend to go into overanalyzing and overthinking. The first one is that as a culture, we are very mind focused. So most of the things that we do, most of the times when we interact with other people or we consume anything, it's most of the time on the mental level. Our whole education system is basically only mental. So habitually, because that's what we've trained, and we've strengthened our mind while weakening other aspects of ourselves, like our ability to feel our intuition, to feel our emotions, to feel the connection to the ground. There's an impulse that we learned over many, many years that when something needs to be solved, we go to the level of our mind. Now, the second piece is looking at overthinking, overanalyzing as a kind of survival strategy or survival mechanism that many of us developed very early on in our lives. Now, what do I mean by that? If I start connecting to my body, to the sensations in my body when overthinking is happening, what I notice, and what you will notice if you do it, is that there is some kind of activation inside of me. There's more energy, there's more charge. And that charge can be kind of fear, it can be a nervous anticipation, but it can even be joy. And what happened for many of us early in our lives as children is that we experienced some intensity, usually connected to some kind of emotion, and we were not able to hold this intensity by ourselves. So the way that we learn to hold emotional intensity as children is through the support of a caretaker, through the support of another nervous system that helps us realize that it's safe to feel that. Now, for most of us, there are places inside of us where that didn't happen, or there are experiences that we had where something came up and it was so much, it was so intense, and we didn't get the support that we needed. Either there was no one there, or the people that were there were kind of emotionally absent, so we didn't get this kind of support of like, it's okay to feel scared, or it's okay to feel a lot of joy. So then, as children, there's something that we had to do when there was this charge and it didn't feel safe to feel it, there had to be something for us to protect ourselves. And so one strategy that many of us developed is to pull our energy up into the head. And so it's important to acknowledge that that's a very intelligent thing to do, because it protected you from overwhelm. It protected you from feeling something that was too much to feel by yourself. And that's why many of us, when something intense happens, when we're scared, any kind of intensity really, it can happen very easily that all our energy goes up into our heads and we try to think it through and analyze it through and so on and so forth. So one way you can look at this pattern of overthinking is that whenever there's a situation in your life where intensity comes up, it activates this old habit, this old pattern of yours of pulling the energy up into your head. And when we start looking at this as, it's like a young part inside of us that takes over and does what it learned to do to protect itself from intensity, from too much, from not feeling safe inside of the body, we can start relating to it in a different way. So we can start seeing it's not bad that this is happening, it's not wrong that this is happening, but maybe what needs to happen is that we start updating ourselves and updating our nervous system and start learning to hold the intensity inside of the body rather than pulling it up into your mind. And so when we start doing this work and when we start learning to feel the intensity in the body, which we're able to do because now we have adult bodies, our nervous systems are much more robust than they were as children. When we start doing that, you will notice that the impulse to go up into your head and not being able to get out, it will become a lot less, because you're addressing the issue at the root. And the root of it is there's some intensity inside of your body that as a child you did not learn to be with. You did not have the support to just feel it through. And so we pull our energy up. That's why the work is to come back down into the body and to practice being with the intensity. Now, here's a nice side effect of this. It's not just that you will stop getting lost in your mind and overthinking and analyzing. You will actually feel a lot more alive as you do this and a lot more connected to different sources of intelligence inside of you. Now, let's look at some practical ways that you can shift this pattern and start becoming more grounded. So first, it's really helpful to keep in mind that when this pattern comes up, this pattern of overthinking, you can really imagine it's like a young part inside of you, a little child, like a little you, that takes over and does what it learned to do to deal with intensity. And so when we kind of keep that in mind, we can approach this with compassion and understanding rather than with like shaming ourselves and feeling bad and so on. Now, here's one thing that is always available and that really helps to bring more space to your system, and that is using your breath and breathing more deeply so that your nervous system actually calms down a little bit. And we can do that right now. We can just take 2 deep breaths together. You can sigh on the exhale. That can be really nice as well. One more. The next thing that I want to recommend is journaling. So this is one thing that literally saved my ass, that whenever I would notice, I would go into this like very worried thinking, I would start writing it down, and really in the pace that it was coming up. And why that helps so much is the thoughts are no longer in your head, they're actually out on the paper and you can look at it. And so it creates some kind of distance of like, look, this is what my mind is thinking. And you can start taking more of a perspective and seeing, okay, that's not reality. It's not how things will look like. It's just thoughts and interpretations and worries. And so it can really help to just create a little bit more space between you and your thoughts. The next thing that I recommend is meditation. Now, a word of caution, some ways of meditation that are being shared will actually lead you further away from your body. They will kind of get you to some sort of astral planes where you will chill out in bliss or whatever, but is not going to help you become more grounded and connected to yourself. So meditation, if it's practiced in a way that actually helps you become more embodied, meaning connected to your body, feeling the connection to the ground. Now, I'm going to put probably up here a video of guided meditation that I recorded that helps you actually arrive more deeply in your body. The next thing that I recommend can be a bit counterintuitive, at least for some of us, and that is to really shift your energy. So that can be standing up and shaking and moving and sounding. And what that can help with is it just starts moving energy more through your body. And so when energy is stuck in your head, but really anywhere, and you just move, and maybe you even do some push-ups and you dance and you scream, then you will start bringing this energy more into flow again. So this can be a really nice kind of short-term strategy when you feel like, there's energy stuck somewhere, I just need to get it moving. Then just get up and move and do whatever is necessary to start feeling different parts of your body again and feel your heart pumping and the aliveness. And lastly, I highly recommend for you to get some kind of support in this process. I definitely would not be where I'm at without the many therapists and mentors that I've worked with and still work with, because the way that our nervous system learns most effectively to regulate itself, meaning to come to a place of everything is okay right now, is through being with someone else who is in that space, who's in that state of self-regulation. If you're looking for support in becoming more grounded, having access to those different levels of intelligence and not be stuck in your head most of the time, then you can check out my Grounding Bootcamp program. It's an 8-week individual program where we meet once per week, and I support you to develop a base of body awareness, of body presence that you keep coming back to. And I'll also help you implement daily habits that I also use so that body presence becomes second nature, so that it's something that you don't need to kind of remind yourself all the time to do, but it becomes something that is more your natural state. So if you're interested in that, you can check out the link in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments what is the most important takeaway that you're taking from watching this video. Give this video a like, and if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe to my channel so that you can always see when I post something new. So I hope to see you in the next video.